dream is number one, desirable. I do what I want, when I want, and how I want it. Leave you with the one in the air, that's how I roll. And you always wanna be mine, and a champion. I'm so royal. This
Be
is
watching
me, I'm so
MulDiversity.
royal.
Everyone's got to be watching MulDiversity.
Woo, woo, woo. Welcome to the show, y'all. Welcome to the party at hand. It's us. It's MulDiversity. We're going to forego the intros tonight because, one, we started a little bit later than usual, and two, we just want to get into the good stuff. So you already know it's me, Quamon Star G. To my left is Mike. Below me directly is Avia, and diagonally is Aaron. Say hello, everybody, and give them a brief synopsis of their day.
Mimosas and sleep.
Hey,
Thanks.
period. Work and writing. Work, writing.
Facts on facts on facts. What about you,
It was
Mr.
pretty
Man?
hectic. I'm not even gonna lie, it was pretty hectic. Like I was kind of bartering with, you know, the all-powerful Celestial to ensure that we all survive, and then this other guy didn't like that. So
you want to start on that part of the movie? Jeez.
Oh no, we're gonna go in order.
God, can we
gonna
save that part, because that part takes me down
Every time.
Yeah,
Every time.
we gonna try to stay in like order of things and whatnot and such. You know how we do. But yes, we finna turn up tonight. This is the Eternals review extravaganza. You know what I'm saying? And we are going to really just dig deep into it. What is up, everybody watching? We are going to really just do the damn thing, for lack of a better term. And so glad y'all all tuning in, and y'all are watching us with eyes unclouded by hate and with minds ready to be open. You know, there's no secret here that we at MulDiversity have had a cavalcade of thoughts and opinions on what this film could have been or what might be done. And having witnessed the film in its entirety, we can now feel safe in giving you guys our raw and unfiltered opinions on it. And I think it's safe to say that it's too at ease. It's too at ease, and that these critics are full of shit. The ones that did not give this that gave it a rotten, and that I'll be the first one to put myself out here and say that it's legitimately a terrific film. You know, Chloe's out. You know, I would honestly say it, not since, Winter Soldier has a first time MCU director been able to make the film that they wanted to make, more or less, that didn't insult your intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that is a shade to the nth degree to Guardians of the Galaxy, but but no, the Eternals is really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go in a circle because I'm just gonna get that quick little blurb. Anybody else got their quick little blurbs before we get in?
For sure. Since you were talking about Chloe Zhao, she definitely had her stamp of filmmaking in the film. Like you could tell, because if you've seen, the her movies before this, like the songs My Brother Taught Me, The Writer, and Nomadland, you could tell the landscapes are very important to her, and she wanted to make the area where the Eternals were look as real as possible. And the crew, the cast, there's like, yeah, we filmed on real locations. Like a lot of the clips we shot weren't shot on green screen, and it's like, that's incredible. Because nowadays, everyone tries to use CGI or green screen, but that just goes how you can make a great superhero film practical again. And that's amazing. And also, like you said, a lot of people didn't really like this one because they felt it was too serious. But I'm like, y'all do realize that The Winter Soldier was also a serious film, like you brought up. and y'all didn't talk about that when it came out. Y'all talking about how great it was when Winter Soldier came out. So I'm like, so what's the issue here?
We'll find out tonight.
Yep.
For real. Like no,
Is
like
that is that a little Shang Pong now?
Bit of sophistication.
I should have got my glass of wine. I should have brought my glass of wine.
I'm just sipping water.
Yeah, I feel like since these journalists try to be sophisticated on everybody and voice their not so bright opinion on this film, even though everybody's opinion is valid, just think they're wrong. But we do have a saying down here: opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
Yeah, I just hate how movie comes out, or they got to see the movie and these reviews started coming out. Everybody was just like trash. I'm like, critics, are you serious? Like, for real? Then when you actually experience the movie, you like, it was so many times watching it, I was like, oh, I get why you didn't like it. Did you not understand it? Was this not what you wanted? Like, but I really just hated it because I enjoyed the movie. I think a lot of people will enjoy it. I mean, it is heavy, but just got to be very open to it.
I mean, some of the best movies are heavy, so
yeah, that's true.
That is true. Facts.
Most of the best picture noms are super heavy, but
that is
almost
facts.
as if it's almost as if there was a bit of a memo sent out to shit on this movie or something. I don't know.
Because I can't believe every critic.
Yeah, more or less. Like it's weird because y'all know how we like before we get people on our comments and mentions saying, oh, so y'all are MCU shields now. Firstly, go fuck yourself. And secondly, this movie is legitimately good. I'm gonna be very honest with you.
I mean, some of us love the MCU now. Hold up.
I know.
Now.
I'm not talking about.
Ain't no shield now, but me, I'm bouncing. I'm bouncing. I'm in between. Like
I'm saying to the people who out and out think that it's some sort of moral high ground, not being a MCU fan or a DCEU fan. Anybody who falls on that spectrum of line of thinking, come on, y'all. Both of them, like y'all can sit there and try to say that at MCU, but like there's a lot of us aren't watching a DCE movie because a black man hasn't gotten an apology. So, but that's go ahead, Avia.
I was saying, also it makes me wonder because a woman of color directed this. Is that why y'all are tanking it?
Yeah, that's another.
Is that why y'all are tanking it? Because I just wonder if they're gonna do this. If they did this to Eternals, what are they gonna do to the Marvels? If it's actually kind of good, what are they gonna do to it? Because a black woman has directed it.
Yeah, we gonna get.
Are they gonna review bomb it just because a black woman directed it?
Right.
We gonna get to that, and we gonna get to that later on because that's a whole, especially with something that happened today. Like it's like. Yeah, but unfortunately, Joe, you're in the minority about that, so we gotta shit can the majority because they are the ones who are unfortunately spreading it.
We're not talking about you, Joe. We know how you feel.
I'm talking about Joe. I am.
Now,
like so, it's the Joe knows we're talking about the majority,
right? Now, don't come in these comments saying with that because that's not what. We loved your opinion,
but it's we definitely gonna touch on that Avia later on because I'm glad you brought that up because something happened today that I think is adding another wrinkle to that. But yeah, there's two factors why I think this is being very much shit canned for no reason. And one obviously is the race factor because you got that like. It's so obvious, and that is the racial aspect. And the other one is because this is a peak prime, the DCEU aesthetically made film. I'm not saying that Chloe went, I'm just gonna do what he did and just copy it verbatim. I'm saying that she took, obviously, and she admitted there was some inspiration taken from Man of Steel, a lot of great allusions to it, as that I'll get into, but was inspiration. And you have these bloggers and pseudo critics, online pundits who were like, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted my whack ass dad rock in space, and I wanted Guardians again. And that is not what they got with the Eternals. What they got was what I'm basically saying is what happens when angels lose their religion. It's them in the corner, it's them in the spotlight, they're losing their religion. Shout outs to anybody who got that reference. But it's a very well made film about okay, so let's just synopsis it, because I think that's how we do it, how critics do. They first have to give the synopsis and then give their critique on it. So basically Eternals is about these, God, I'm trying to remember. It's 8, right? Because it's a double digit number. I'm stuck between.
It's 10. It's 10.
10.
It's
10.
10.
See, I told you that it was 10, Kwamani. Listen to yourself. It's 10 aliens called the Eternals. They come to Earth because under the guidance of a celestial, a all-powerful, large alien being by the name of Ashram, the Prime Eternal. And essentially they're sent to Earth to rid it of these other dangerous aliens called the Deviants and protect them from the Deviant threat until it's time for them to come home. And basically, over the course of the movie, we find out that not only are the Deviants back, but also they also find out the real reason why they were sent to Earth and what they were meant to do and whatnot, which, when we get to the spoiler aspect of it, we're really going to deep dive into it. But basically that puts them on a journey which more or less sets them at odds with their original reasoning for being in the film. And it tackles a lot of great questions and scenarios, like what happens when you stop believing in this higher power that you were basically dedicated your life to. What happens when you're forced to really deconstruct what it means, or what you thought it means to be a person, to believe in your beliefs, and how far are we willing to go to uphold those convictions and beliefs that we've believed in for so long. And it's very much it's done very well. And I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna toss it to y'all, because that's the first thing. What was y'all's what was y'all initial thoughts about that particular scenario? Not all at once.
Avia, ladies first. You know me, I always say that.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting because you get both extremes. Like you get Cersei, who like Thena told her when she was pretty much contemplating on why Ajax pretty much made her the Prime Eternal. She was like, the moment you set foot on this planet, you love them. Like you've loved these people the moment that you got here. And then you have like someone on the opposite spectrum, Icarus, who's like, I don't care about these people. Like, let's get their murders done, over with, so we can start it over. And you just see what it does to each person. Like, Cersei grows on the planet, on Earth, her powers start to grow. And when they noticed it when she, when they're in the Amazon, she turned the deviant into a tree. It's like, how are you able to do that? Because when she had the the second meeting with Erisham, she realized when she saw that when Erisham said that they weren't meant to develop, she's like, oh, hold on, I did. So if I develop, that means they can. And I just thought it was beautifully well done. Like that whole storyline there was amazing.
Factuals. But I agree. Anybody else before we?
I love how it opened up, with this in the beginning. And then this whole nice little, basically like a little prequel of a storyline or whatever. I love that. Then it cuts, and then it's the sun, and then it's they ship. Like that whole opening scene was everything to me. But yeah, good movie. I ain't ready to get into my favorite character yet because my favorite character is Thena.
Yeah, we gonna get it. We gonna get
I'm gonna wait because that's where my points come in because
Yeah.
I had a very deep connection with her. I loved her.
You know, I'm going to, much like the Eternals, kick it up a notch. That whole idea y'all were talking about. I mean, like from the beginning to the end, the whole idea that these superheroes are questioning their entire being, their entire religion. Let's just take it there for a second because Jack Kirby knew what he was doing. So it's Chloe. So in a way, this was a retelling of the Book of Enoch because the Watchers, those angels in the Hebrew Bible, they're called the Watchers. They took their time, watching over mankind, but they took a choice to step down from heaven and live among man and breed with them and all these different things. And it led to, in that part of the Bible, it led to like the flooding, with Noah's Ark and all that stuff. So, obviously this says, this is talking, like Q said, this is about angels questioning their entire, being, their entire religion, because what the whole idea of this is like, what if you're wrong about what you've been told your whole life? Because I mean, just the whole theme of this, it's both anti-religious and pro-religious. Because without getting into the end too much, there was still hope with at least two of the characters about what they believed in.
Yes.
So this whole movie is like this movie got layers upon layers like an onion, and I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, how do you not get that? If especially from Jack Kirby, who was, a Jewish man. Thank you, Ian. 100% the Nephilim. I mean, if we really want to get into it, like some of them Celestials, the Nephilim too, but that could be argued that the Eternals themselves were the Nephilim, just because, or not the Eternals, but the Deviants, because what did they do? They adapted. They weren't supposed to adapt. None of them were supposed to adapt, just like in the Book of Enoch, where the angels weren't supposed to go beyond their means, but they did.
I want to take a couple of steps in that direction on three different topics. Two that Avia brought up, one that you just got done bringing up. So with as far as with the Cersei and Icarus type deal, pay attention, because when Cersei points out how beautiful Earth is, the first thing that comes out of Icarus' mouth isn't or anything about Earth. It's his name. It's his name, showing that he already just is not focused on anything about it. It's ultimately just about Cersei. It's her. He's the one. He's so enthralled in this individual that this planet that he's supposed to go and do his job. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. I'm Icarus. What's your name? And how to get that relationship started. So it's that also. When we talk about how Earth is changing them, I think it's a little step further, and it shows the flaws in Ashram's design, because he says, "Oh, he developed the Eternals not to evolve," but I think that showed them evolving. I think that, again, just like how he misjudged the purpose of the Deviants, that shows the fallibility of Ashram, and that he's not as all-knowing. They say as much, but from the lens of they need to save the Earth, so of course we're going to really just think about it in that lens. But even when you take a step out and you look at it further, even his designs are still flawed, because he can't perfectly create creatures to do the job that it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't create the Deviants correctly, and the Eternals that he created, they were supposed to be flawless, but then they still get mad weary, where they remember all the things that they're not supposed to. And now they can evolve past what they were. And a third thing about religion that you were bringing up and the pro and anti-religion. What I call say Eternals does is this is gonna piss some people off, but I really don't care. It's what I call correct atheism, not white atheism, because white atheism is what you will find in a movie like Prometheus, where it will try to hammer in, where it will try to hammer home just how bad any and all forms of religion is, because it will ultimately not be what the worshipers think it to, and it more or less makes following in its covenant, alien covenant, pointless.
Another
And how
good
like
movie.
and how it can be twisted. And Eternals plays with the concept of atheism, plays with the concept that their god, which is Ashram, that's like, let's just drop all the pretenses, that is their god, and that is the people that up until that's the entity that up until that point they believed wholesale in its design. And even you have those that still do to varying degrees, and it still presents it in Kunig's final words, Kamali's character, shout outs to him, he met Mike over the last couple of months. His character at the end, when Cersei is wondering if they did the right thing, instead of giving the you did the right thing, he says, it's too late for that, but you followed your heart. And that still plays to the whole, there really isn't a right way to understand religion or any of this shit. There's only a wrong way to go about believing in it, and that's when you force it upon others or try to hurt people for your beliefs, like Icarus was going to do. And I really appreciate that, and was kind of dumbfounded that people was like, oh, this is like so depressing, and it's like the most depressing movie, or or whatever they were saying when they were live tweeting the movie that was just coming out in theaters. And I just like, well, this is a powerful statement. This is something that's a story that needs to be told, quite frankly, and used with these proxies. And that's my little blurb on it. We're gonna get a lot more deeper in those allegories.
But I mean, like, no, just to kind of add a cherry on top of that. I mean, you don't see topics like this often, subtly, not so subtly, in these types of movies. And I don't think you're really going to see these, unless you have a director who's really pushing it there. But I mean, just the idea that, I guess this is spoilers, Olympia wasn't real, and
Yes.
Olympia is heaven. That it is.
Right.
And the fact that their whole life is an entire lie, and then the idea you go in there, cute. So the idea that Icarus trying to uphold the status quo, for all intents and purposes, in the name of their god,
Ashram.
That's, and he was on here too. I mean,
it's weird. He's an amalgam. I'm gonna say he's an amalgamation of both Gabriel and Satan. He's Gabriel.
I think Michael.
Ooh, care to elaborate?
The archangel Michael said of Gabriel, because Gabriel is a messenger. Michael is the archangel, like the actual fighter. So I feel like
I think it was a mixture.
Yeah,
a mixture.
I think it's definitely both. It's definitely Michael. I can see Michael as well, but it's the reason why I'm so fixated on with the Satan aspect of it too is because of what he represents to the world as a whole, and the lie that he told, and the lies he continued to tell to bring about something that he figured that in most religions, Satan is the king of lies. And, that's something, and he's a fallen angel. But the reason why I don't just call him wholesale Satan, and again, I'm speaking it from the lens of a Christianity lens, not from a whole catch-22, all religions and how they, view Satan and whatnot. I'm speaking specifically from the general Christianity ideal of Satan. But since he was an angel in heaven who fell and became, the devil, to earth, he would be that, because he's trying to bring about it. And then, both the dual illusion of the story of Icarus flying too close to the sun, and then him being burnt, for his sins in the sun, which could be seen as hell. But the reason why I also, say Gabriel and like April pointed out Michael is because their stalwart beliefs and the way they would go about enforcing God's will. Because if you look and when you look up angels, the head angels who
archangels,
are the archangels, thank you, is those are the first two you see about, and then most go ahead.
And I also feel like Ajax also was Gabriel too, because she was the one who would give messages from Erisham to everybody else what was supposed to be happening. So I think Ajax was like you said, Gabriel, and I feel like Icarus just had that Michaelness about him, like that faithfulness. Like, I'm going to war for God.
I would go a step further, and then I would say, in turn, Icarus would technically be the Antichrist, because wouldn't Cersei be Michael? Because Michael is supposed to slay the dragon at the end. And if we really get really deep into it, then isn't the whole third act of the movie Revelations? Because
yes,
is the beast who. I mean, like it's all there.
And let's take it even further. The fact that the end was going to be in 7 days, and how long did it take? It took 7 days.
Oh, careful, Q. You do some real reviewing here.
Like, I mean, I was gonna say, I was gonna say Cersei might be a certain, another biblical feature. It was a biblical icon, but her hair was not of wool and her skin was not, so I'm very adamant that if they're going to do that, then that needs to be the requirements. But
it's not that jokey character. That's not who that is.
See, we go.
I don't know. We'll get there.
Ooh.
Arthur.
Right here.
You know what I'm saying? We thinking, right? We taking it there because
they aren't.
And let me clarify, because I did want to clarify this. When I say white atheism, I mean how in most instances when you see atheism portrayed, it's done, and there's been a couple of threads in the last couple of weeks that really done a better job at articulating it than what I'm about to, maybe. But it's oftentimes portrays atheism without a lack of understanding on how the cultures who created these religions and where they came from. They speak on it in a catch-all. All of this is stupid, and you're stupid for believing in it, not respecting the cultures that created it in the first place, because they just look at it from the Anglo-Saxon white European interpretation of Christianity, and then they apply it to all of the religions and take each of their quote unquote dark points as evidence as to why it isn't something to believe in. Whereas something like, in my opinion, the Eternals, it doesn't tell you you're wrong or that they're wrong. It just simply creates a scenario where, what if, and that has more substance than I'm letting on at this point in time in the review. What if, there was something out there that could be seen as a higher power, and the angels, quote unquote, went, yeah, but is this the best way? And then proceeded to go about doing that. Right. And then have the balls to tell you, well, did you make the right choice? I think that going deeper, a little bit further in the movie, when, up until literally the climax of the third act, they're still just trying to put Tiamat, the celestial that's supposed to be born from Earth, asleep. So then that he can, eventually still wake up. But at that point, they've taken humanity to another, which, knowing the MCU at this point, that's pretty much a possibility, especially if you consider all of the options that they would take. But that was something that they could have done theoretically, but because of Icarus and his narrow view of Ashram's design, they couldn't do it. They ultimately, it's tragic in the sense that Icarus forced their hand to do it that way. Had Icarus been on board, then Tiamat would have survived,
Right.
and the emergence would have happened. Ashram would have been pleased, and humanity would have still been more or less spared. You know,
Like in the Book of Revelations. Since Ashram actually he wasn't a beast, he was one of the 4 horsemen. Actually, let me just clarify that. You know,
I thought you was gonna save that point.
no.
we can still round about it.
We got a lot.
That's because I mean it's deep when you look. Like I feel like that's when you break it down like that. That makes the movie have so much richness to it.
Yes, and like we're not even just getting into some of the simple character consistency. You know, Cersei being late and her, being protective of others. Some of the way that they. Well, this is more so with Kirby. There's a lot of great Kirbyisms in this movie. Mad Weary being my favorite because it's just such an offbeat name for something that you have. Like, you can literally just see Jack sitting there like, I'm going to call it Mad Weary because it's literal and it's offbeat because they're mad and they're weary. They're weary of all the destruction, so it drives them mad. It's simple.
I love Mad Weary. I love the concept of Mad Weary. When they explained it, and like I said, I got a connection with Thena because of that. Just because I just felt like with her going through everything that she was going through and then finding out all her memories and everything, I felt like that was low-key her having like anxiety or depression because of her memories, and living that long. But I love the concept of Mad Weary. I hope it continues to be introduced.
Yeah, it was certainly something that I'm glad they put in the movie, and also a great foreshadowing device. Well, how's your feelings about Mad Weary, Avia?
I thought it was interesting. That everyone thought that she was crazy because she was saying you're all gonna die, all these people are gonna die, but she was actually telling the truth, and the fact that Gilgamesh pretty much helped her through it pretty much all those years.
Yeah.
Like he was the only one who could really like help with her Mad Weary episodes, and their relationship through it was just amazing to see because they were definitely one of my favorite couples of the movie.
Also, they were a couple.
Well, you know what I mean, like because
I was
not necessarily like a romantic couple.
No, because they could have been, but it was. I just love the fact that he was there for her because she wasn't by herself, and I felt like him, like you saying, him being there with her, that developed their relationship to be like more.
Yeah. See, here right there, it's calling like Mad Weary is the weight of sins. I just love the idea that we actually get to see some consequences in the MCU, like not rushed consequences like off of Civil War, where it's like this happens, then a day later this happens, and then 2 days later this happens. I'm talking like this is thousands of years or even longer. The way the reveal happened, this could be like billions of years of heartache and pain just weighing down on your mind. And it's like actually seeing consequences. This is another reason why I believe some critics who said this was so depressing, this is why I think they said that, because they're not used to seeing consequences in a movie that's arguably from a brand for kids now. Like,
I mean, I wonder how there's
consequences.
I mean, I wonder how they fucking felt when Luke lost his hand in Empire, but I mean,
see, it was the 80s. It was the 80s. I wonder. Well, see, this is why I keep saying, like, if Lion King was made today, people feel some type of way.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
There it is, Ghost. There it is.
Right. That whole I want to not joke right now. Right. Like that. I feel like because y'all didn't get that MCU feel that you get with all these other past movies. This is a movie that you had to sit down, watch, pay attention, and receive something from it, and you didn't receive what you're normally used to.
Right. Like I genuinely like, and I've spoken to some of you guys off camera about it, and when before lead up to the episode. But it's like, obviously, it had to have some of those jokes in the movie. Unfortunately. Thankfully, it didn't bog it down too much. And I'll say this. Shout out to Kit Harington, because
Mm,
he did like not saying this was a devoid of comedy, but his comedy was very much suited. Like it was I liked it. I'll say it didn't overstay his welcome. Again, shout outs to Kit Harington.
Let's go to get a sip of water.
yeah, I mean that kind of.
It was
That's
between
why I'm
him
waiting
and
I was literally looking at that clip.
it's between him and oh shit. Never mind.
Are you talking about the show for the
Quran.
Quran was, and I mean, yeah, I feel like there was 3 comedy released. Those are your 3 right then and now. But I felt like it was they were placed. I feel like they were placed at good times because, like, when they were at the table, at the dinner table, that was your time to have all your family jokes and everything right then and there. That was your break away from what we had just saw in the first couple of acts, and then what we were about to go into. That family dinner was your time for all your jokes, and I feel like you gave me all my jokes I needed to get back to the seriousness.
I mean, honestly, that reminded me like a scene out of Lord of the Rings.
almost like a Last Supper of sorts.
Yeah, you know.
But
Okay.
Brian Tyree, his Brian Tyree, his landed though. His jokes landed.
Yeah,
Like when Icarus hit the tape, the one they used in the trailer. Like, but in the movie, it's like that is kind of funny.
Shout outs to Brian Tyler Henry, the father of the greatest superhero ever Christmas movie of all time. Shout out to him.
Let's see.
But
and in the end, when he's like, so your babysitting privileges are revoked, like forever. Like
Ever.
That was funny.
Like
Ever.
forever.
Like his and also Kingo, he was hilarious. Kingo was hilarious as well. Like there were some funny parts, but it was enough to balance it out to where it wasn't joke heavy, where it wasn't just known for being humorous.
it wasn't Guardians fucking 2.
25%.
Right.
I feel like it was 25% comedy.
Right.
I might even
Like-
go lower.
And I mean, it was a heavy
Okay,
smoke.
okay. I was gonna say no shit. I was gonna say 18, maybe 21%. But I honestly didn't need no comedy in this movie.
Right.
For real.
I
Like
didn't.
It wasn't
before I go into the most controversial
necessary.
take.
What, our ratings?
No. I'm
I'm playing.
There is a very
I'm playing.
no. I mean, obviously, I want everybody to give their ratings, but there's a super take I'm gonna make. But before I
know
do
where you're
that,
going with this.
but before I do that, I do want to say that shout outs to Festos. I swear, because Druid says it in his accent, and it always fucks me up because I would say because he says it like he's saying the end of Hephaestus. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna end up saying Festus, even though it's not that, but
Right.
Festus, I know a lot of people were bummed out because, from the trailers and some early reviews, they were saying like, oh, he's responsible specifically for the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. And of course, they would make the black gay man character responsible for that.
Mhm.
But when you finally watch the movie, you see the context that no, he didn't create the damn bomb. He just feels because he created the plow, that he feels responsible for that. And because it led them to this point. And he's like, he really had some of like the best character motivations of all of them because he had his family and everything, and arguably he had the most to lose of them all, because Cersei, she obviously had Dane, and he had his career, but
He had a family.
Festus actually had a family that he loved, and he wanted to make sure that they were safe, that they can see another day. And that was really, really powerful, especially his monologue, when Icarus was explaining to, all of them had made amazing that whole scene in the ship where Icarus finally reveals himself and everybody's, expressing their opinion. And, like that's such a powerful scene, like, especially on the rewatch. It's really, really fucking good. What? Fuck it. I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
I'm about to say it.
Yeah.
The Man of Steel comparisons and illusions in this movie are both heavy and perfectly done damn near as done as well. For the things that they took inspiration from, they did it just as well as that. I'll say it. From I'm gonna say it, Icarus' Zod and his motivations and Icarus Icarus' Zod.
I cannot stand Icarus.
His
I literally
devotion.
cannot stand that man. Like, I was watching the whole. I mean, what pisses me off is the conviction of, oh my God, he's coming back, and he's gonna be, he's gonna be there for them and everything like that. And then when he reveals himself, it's like, you son of a.
And when I say the illusions, like, are there adopted home allegories? Are there, the marginalized immigrant aspects of the Eternals? No, it's not. Those aspects of Man of Steel are not there. But what is there is the preservation of someone's home, the ideology of devotion to a single cause, and also sacrificing what is familiar to you for the greater good. And Icarus is odd. His single-minded devotion to Ashram is similar to Zod's single-minded devotion to Krypton, and the lengths that he would go to protect it. The only difference is that whereas when Zod was faced with defeat, he was going to burn Earth to the ground, and when Icarus was faced with defeat, he decided to burn himself because he failed. And they both are equally powerful. They both equally show what is there. And even with them killing Tiamat and the Celestials, that's their Krypton had its chance. Yeah. That's them blowing up the jump ship and stopping the Codex from terror, and stopping the world engines from terraforming the Earth. That was there, and they both were impactful. The being on Earth, being, like Clark before he became Superman, watching Earth and watching how to react and how they would react. And, obviously the MCU had the benefit of having the Avengers and the goddamn Doctor Strange and all them folks to ease them in, on a global scale. But those things were there, and for the story it told, instead of telling an immigrant finding his place on the Earth, but rather angels losing their religion, both of those scenarios worked for those things. And I think that's honestly why so many people are pissed off, because it reminds them of how good Man of Steel is, and they can't do it. They can't fucking, like, it's bad enough Man of Steel is as good, and they have to say that they have to hate Man of Steel, but then they see Marvel remind them that this concept, not just Man of Steel specifically, but the concept of superheroes making tough decisions and living with the consequences while saving people because they know it's the right thing to do without a smile on their face or a quip to throw. That, Aaron, you have the word to describe it, and I'm gonna let you throw it out there, but it's when you have this Asian woman who makes Man of Steel, who makes Man of Steel MCU, and that's not a knock at all. That's a highest praise, and I can possibly give it. Who makes a Man of Steel-esque film? Let me say that to make it, to keep giving.
Make it plain, Pastor. Make it plain.
Like to see,
Deacon, don't do that.
Make it plain, Deacon.
Yeah, man, whatever y'all call me, but to see Chloe make something as impactful and serious as Man of Steel in its theme, and these critics can't hide behind a white man directing it and can't throw all of these superlatives at it, and now they have to deal with this Asian woman, this Oscar-winning Asian woman, directing a movie with similar tones and themes. It's like they can't hide anymore, and they had to show their ass. And unfortunately, Feige might fuck around and say, I don't care about none of y'all no more. I'm just gonna do me. But Aaron, there's an F word you want to throw out, and I'm gonna let you throw it out.
No,
we going there tonight. We going there with this movie tonight.
That's the F word. It's fun.
No, it's fascism. It's fascism. It's not. Don't let him.
No, let me really go there for a second. Like, for real. Let me let me take what you said and let's go a step further, shall we? Because I would argue that Eternals could technically be the story of the immigrant life and assimilating yourself within American society, because this would then prove Black Panther and X-Men, the whole idea between the plots of the Black Panther film and the idea of X-Men, right, is that, these are people who are dealing with an extremist who have, been within society for so long. They came to Mesopotamia, like some settlers, and they dealt with life. Some were seen as gods, some, kind of like in history, how, people with this hue are, they have the statues and, things like that. And that old thing. And what happened? They just want to be to themselves. So then when they start getting killed off in the 2000s, and it's very publicized, by beings who were already there as well, what do? They want to fight back, but they're saying, how can we save humanity? Because once again, it's that whole idea of not necessarily Captain Save-A-Ho, but it's like, hey, we've been here for so long, we like it here. There's no, there could be something bigger, but also, we could just say Icarus was a certain type of person who, when they learn about themselves, they want to go to the extreme.
Extremist.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice way. Yeah, let's use that word.
Fascist, racist. No. I'm throwing out all of the isms, but I know which one you're saying. I'm just being funny.
The ones who love to be on the streets. Ones who love to be on the streets.
You talking about Hotep?
So,
I'm just really throwing their names out there.
Learning the truth, learning the idea of somebody learning their truth and sticking with it for so long, and basically accepting that they've been lied to, but they want everyone else to know the truth. What do? They want to help everybody, but stop the ones who don't look like them, stop the ones who aren't like them for something higher, something above themselves. This could be the story of extremists. You could look at extremists in different groups, because what do they want to do? They want to kill everybody that doesn't look like them. There's that whole aspect.
I want to also go back to what Druid said to Cersei about when the deviants started, when they realized the deviants were evolving, and she was like, well, I don't know why I said it like that and make it sound like she wasn't saying something intellectual, when she very much was. But she said, they have a conscience now that makes them more dangerous. And Druid said, no, that makes them us. That goes back even further to when he was watching them killing in, what was it, Mesopotamia? No, it was Tenochtitlan
in Mexico.
Yes, and he talked about how there was no difference between them and the soldiers. They're just pawns in the game doing the bidding of their masters. And
slaves.
I'm gonna be very real with you. They all, deviants and Eternals, were slaves. They all were slaves. There was no difference between the deviants, and that is the best, it's like, that's the best analogy, is that they both were the slaves. It's
so
only,
you could say somewhere in the house and somewhere in the field.
And
they were slaves.
There you go.
We promise we're going to get to the goofy comic book allusions and the comic book references. We promise, but y'all gonna have to wait just a little bit longer. But yeah, it's
that's gonna be a 2-part episode,
right?
Because this is the deepness, and I think because I love it, because I've told each and every one of you off camera that your points are amazing, because a lot of people are not seeing it from that view. So I'm glad we're talking about it. That's the thing, because a lot of people are not seeing this movie as how we're breaking it down.
They don't want to,
and also people expected Druid to be the bad guy,
right?
I'm like,
Somebody disagreed.
Aaron,
just because
go into it.
Okay, because he probably had the most interesting power. He could go and control people. He could have used it, even though he threatens, I could get in the mind of every single person if I wanted to. But he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice each person wears certain color. He wears black, like he wears all black all the time. So you expect, oh, he's the he's the outsider, like he's the wild one, like he's the crazy one, like he's gonna be the one to to turn his back on his people and do something sick or do something evil.
Well,
Nope. He was the exact opposite.
He was
of course, he knows
really down.
Right.
I mean, he was
a recluse, of course. He had his own little commune in the Amazon. But nothing.
Avia.
Crazy. It was just like he did it to protect his people, like to protect the people in the Amazon.
It's literally. It's literally, a character like that too many times. And when you have mind controlled super characters, they're always there to show how easy it is for them to just subjugate people's mind to their own bidding. And yet you have this character who thousands of years could have done that. And again, this line is powerful. He said, he thought about doing it, but then he realized that it would take away all the things that made humanity great, showing that he absolutely understands the value of humans. And there is something that Aaron is chomping at the bit to say about this, and I'm not going to hold him up anymore.
I don't know. Okay. All right. So this finna go out there because Avia just, I didn't think about wearing the black. The idea of control, so 10 Eternals? Speak
on it.
Target got a lot of those. By the way, quick aside.
There were supposed to be 12 originally, and I know why. So, Druid just represented Saturn because the color of Saturn is black. Control. Restrictions, the whole idea of holding somebody back until it gets to a certain point where they learn the lesson, and that's why I said Druid was actually the wisest of the group because what did he do? He literally controlled everything. You see?
After you finish, Markari is red. She's fast. She represents Mercury. Cersei is green. She represents Earth. Oh my god!
Preach. Okay.
Oh my god!
Okay.
Fucking Pluto. It's all Pluto's fault. It's all Pluto's fault. They got caught. They caught Pluto wearing the wig and going, wait a minute, you can't come into the club. So that's why
got caught wearing a wig.
Wig. Ooh, and think about it. Gilgamesh is Mars. Because he has strength of a bull. Oh my god, each of them also represents planets too. Oh my god.
See?
And that would mean Ashram is the sun, right? All of those, which also would explain why Icarus went
to the sun. Okay, there you go. I'm done. I'm done with my blowing y'all's minds. Okay, there it is.
So now we have to figure out what retrograde was born in.
Period.
The retrograde.
Now we got to figure out what retrograde they was born in and what retrograde they was going through these 7 days.
Look.
7-day retrograde.
Look, y'all. And I'm speaking to the audience specifically. Y'all can go and rewatch our stuff. Y'all know some of the things we've said in the lead up to this film. But this movie really is that movie, y'all. Y'all need to understand that this movie did what it had to do.
You have lied to say it was.
To say that it was
bad is capped to the nth degree.
It's bad. You cannot say that this movie is bad because you didn't understand it and you didn't take the time to receive anything that was coming from it.
If you didn't like the movie, you didn't like BBS.
I'm gonna be very real. I'm gonna be very real. I'm gonna be very mean. And I'm gonna piss a lot of people off when I say this. If you call yourself a DCEU fan and you say this movie is trash, then congratulations, you are a poser who only likes drama and mess because you fundamentally misunderstand. You fundamentally misunderstand all of the movies that Zack Snyder had a direct hand in, which has similar themes of Eternals. Straight up. You're only a DCU fan because you like arguing with people on Twitter for ungodly amounts of time because you clearly don't understand the themes of the film outside of regurgitating what people who actually do think, because this movie literally is like, this ain't Spider-Man No Way Home, Far From Home, whatever home,
And it ain't gonna be no shade.
like this ain't none of those Spider-Man
That's
movies
when
or
you gonna get
Guardians
your
movies.
comedy.
Like this ain't none of those movies where you gotta pull bullshit out of thin air to make these connections. Like, oh well, you know, god dang, Star-Lord, he had a mother, and then she died, and he had a father, and so that means he's Jesus. And it's like,
You
no,
sound like the gingerbread man. I'm sorry, you sound
like,
like the gingerbread
like
man.
you're not gonna find any of that here. You're gonna, if you really think like it's so out there. Hell, how many apostles was it again? 13, right? 13 or 20. Let's get to the comic book stuff. We gonna part two. Let's get to the comic book stuff.
I told you it's gonna be a 2-part series on the layers of Eternals. There's so many different layers that you can go with Eternals. Like, seriously, the fact that you just said planets, girl.
What? Like it's all there. Like think
Like,
about
it's
it.
literally
Like,
there. Like,
Dina is Venus. Like Dina is Venus.
Like, I'm gonna be very.
Makari is Mercury. Cersei is Earth. Gilgamesh is Mars.
There is more mythologies than Greek, y'all. I'm sorry.
They're not ready for that talk. They're not ready for that.
More. I know this is gonna piss some people off when I say this, but Zeus, Hercules, and all of them folks ain't the only mythologies and gods. They're not the only ones out there, y'all. You got your Greek, you got your Roman, you got your, like, people who can make movies focused around them. You can draw inspiration from them. It don't have to always revolve around the same motherfuckers that Kratos can kill in about 2 seconds flat. It's, you know, like we know that Marvel fucked up Norse mythology or whatever. No disrespect, but we know that they fucked that up. But they did. Chloe did what she had to do with this. She really did, and it's like please pick up your Bibles and your Torahs and things like that, and go
what Deadline said. I don't care.
Like please, if you really want to understand Eternals better,
you want to understand Jack Kirby,
right?
Yes, look further than Greek gods. Go into your Roman gods. Go into your Hebrew text. Go to your Bibles. And I can make that joke because I do somewhat identify as Christianity, so it's not blasphemy. I'm a black straight male. Of course, I've been in this church on Sunday. That's something that has happened, so I can make those jokes. Okay, so none of y'all can't get mad at me. And my church going granny is probably watching now. All she's gonna say is Mike's back, and I stayed awake the entire time this time. Love you, Granny.
I like that.
I'm just guaranteeing she calls me tomorrow. That's all I'm doing. I'm just guaranteeing she calls me. That's all I'm doing. Let's get to these comic book stuff before we wrap up part 1, apparently, of this whole thing. So y'all know the emergence is why Thanos did what he did, right? Y'all picked up on that, right?
Yeah, go into your theory because you told us about it. Go into it.
So effectively, Titan was going through it because obviously Titan had Eternals on it. And obviously they probably were very out there and about. Fun fact, I'm pretty sure Zorus, for those who really know the comics, he might have been no, actually it's an Eternal who starts with an A, but his code name is the Mentor because that is the person that raised Eros, aka Star Fox. Do a barrel roll, aka One Direction Man, and
Aaron's best friend.
right.
Aaron's bestie for life. But they were probably pushing for the emergence, which is why, you know, Thanos not understanding it, he just viewed it as them overpopulating, them doing all of this, not realizing that this was by design. they were trying to cause this potential Eternal to come about. And, you know, judging by the way Titan looked in Infinity War, maybe that didn't happen. Maybe Thanos instigated a war that prevented that from happening. But Thanos knew about the emergence, and that is why he probably did his plan. Now, whether no, because it's really no defense. You have an Infinity Gauntlet. Infinity is in the fucking name. Just fucking do infinite amount of everything with that, or wipe away the Celestials, which the Infinity Gauntlet can do. And if you watch the What If, you know that they make the Infinity Stones overpowered now because they literally took off the one thing to make sure it's not. So who fucking knows? But rant over. But yeah, Thanos absolutely.
He just had to slide that little piece in, like
Right.
I did. I absolutely did. But Thanos knew about the emergence, and the emergence absolutely was the genesis of his plan of stopping of collecting the Infinity Stones and halving the universe.
And because
Exactly.
somebody wanted to argue last night, I went ahead and looked into something. Let me just say that the Celestials were created.
Who wanted to argue?
Somebody
I don't know
at
either.
this very stream.
I don't know. My memory shot right now, so I'm just going to.
No, I'm kidding. No,
I'm going to assume it's Avia and put the blame on her.
Oh, okay.
What was said?
Out of order.
All I remember is all I'm gonna say. Yeah, so you're not in courtroom 502. We don't do that. But I remember I did me some research because I knew I wasn't crazy. But you know, them Celestials, when they were created, there was something that was an antithesis to them, because if the Celestials were about population, there was something that was about population control, and that, my friend,
This is your Orky Doggy inspirational meme of the day.
Yes, Aaron, that is absolutely what it is. I appreciate it entirely. You are correct at what it is. I know exactly what you're saying.
I'm always correct.
It's the Phoenix Force. Obviously, it's the Phoenix Force because we know Galactus came from a previous universe.
What we're not gonna do is bring the Phoenix Force into the Eternal mess. That's not what we're going to do. Because and the Phoenix Force and the Phoenix family out of this. Okay?
The Phoenix Force is an enemy of the Celestials. Galactus came from the previous universe that the Phoenix Force destroyed. He was the only survivor of that previous universe, and then he became Galactus through cosmic energy, which is why Franklin Richards is the next person destined to survive the end of one universe and to usher in the next universe. If we want to go there, if we want to do that,
let's do that.
You know what I'm saying? You know, we can go there, but
The
it might
last
say
time
we
I checked, Franklin Richards got murdered by a Celestial, so it don't matter.
actually that was just a ploy for him to still do what he does.
It's always a ploy. He's a
It
pretender
is.
anyway. It don't matter.
Let's go to the next thing. Let's go to the more direct, like
The One Direction.
Go ahead, Aaron. You got it.
Put the camera on me. Testicles.
Oh my God.
Monetize that.
What the fuck was that, Aaron?
It was a word.
Why? I made it worse. What's the last thing? I had the last thing. Oh, that was the Watcher's voice. That's who said. That's who said.
Okay. Since we
Actually,
because I really feel like we should do a part 2 about the deepness of the movie and the layers. No, seriously, what was your favorite scene?
Go ahead, y'all.
Ooh. Mine would be when Makari was murking on Icarus. I'm sorry, my girl did her thing when she was
True.
fighting Icarus. Like she did the damn thing.
Yeah, she did.
What's the meme? Chad Superman, and then it's the opposite, which is Icarus.
Yeah. I think in a dark way, my favorite scene was Icarus basically controlling the entire kingdom to lower their weapons and follow him.
You talking about Druid?
Yeah, I said, oh my God, I said Icarus. Yeah, Druid. Yeah.
Powerful scene.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Mike.
I know which one.
I want to say it would be Arsham coming back to snatch up the 3, only because that was some creepy ass shit. Because we all at the end of the movie, like, oh, we good. She's talking to Dane. We like, all right, they gonna be good. And then all of a sudden, it starts lightning and thunder, and then he comes out of nowhere. I mean, it's the fact. I think for me, it's the fact that he revealed himself to the world and anybody that was in that vicinity. He revealed himself and then snatched her up, and then did what he had to say and did what he had to do, and then took them away
with that black hole, which was
black hole.
That black hole was dope. That design was fucking dope.
That was a dope ass transition, like a dope ass like however you want to. That was super cool.
I wonder where Captain Marvel ass was at when that black hole was like 100 meters from the atmosphere.
I just want to say when the host showed up at Shang-Chi, I was looking at her like, what is she doing here? What are you doing here?
See,
and then your hair a little longer. What you doing?
Like she always comes late. Sis is always late to everything. Like, are you running on CP time, Mommy? Like, what is
that?
It ain't cute. It ain't cute
at all. It's not cute with your ugly looking hair.
You know what? I'm gonna be really fucking mad if Ashram showing up. The reason why no Avengers was immediately on his ass or anything like that was because they was harassing two Chinese people in a bar talking about some 10 rings. Like, hey man,
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about timeline placement. I didn't think about like what is happening. Like, I didn't think about when they get snatched up. When they get snatched up, like, what is everybody else going through?
Like they're like the motherfuckers listen. Yeah, dude. This thing went off, and we don't know what it is, and clearly you wouldn't know what it is either because you just got them. But let's talk about it for 15 minutes. There's nothing possibly interesting happening, and then Space God is just chilling in the upper atmosphere, clearly visible and shit, and they're just talking. And then, oh, I got this. I gotta go, and then it's nothing. It's probably like some Kree bullshit. God, those fuckers are so useless. Anyway,
I mean, we do still got Secret Invasion coming.
I'm just about to. I'm gonna be real with you. I really only care about what the Eternals are doing next, and if this,
if we get a sequel,
even the one direction that they're going.
Aaron, you're gonna have to get over that, bro. I'm not real.
I promise you, I'm not.
He's been in some good films.
No.
So who would you would have had?
Don't do that. Don't cap.
Who would you would have? Who would you have gotten to be the leader of Star Fox, Fox McCloud? Who would you would have gotten to play him?
Anybody. This is the brother of Thanos. Come on now, don't do that.
Wait, and Star Fox generally looks like an asshat in every other thing he's in, so it doesn't throw me off.
They could have gotten like a Hemsworth. They could have gotten anybody.
So what's the other Hemsworth? What's the other Hemsworth name? Ian Hemsworth? Liam Hemsworth. So they should have got Liam.
Yeah,
they should have got Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah. They should have got anybody else. I got beef with that man, so it don't matter.
Man, I really need to know the.
I need to know the backstory. Y'all. It don't even matter. It just goes deep.
I need the backstory on that one.
No, you don't.
Well, I guess not.
No, I'm gonna be like some of the complaints about the film Eternals and not give you a backstory.
True. You didn't.
Critique. That's a dumb critique. Most of the
Y'all
critiques
ready?
about this movie were dumb.
Yeah. So what's the ratings, y'all?
I give it a 8 out of 10.
Facts.
Yeah, I give it about 8. Yeah, about 8 out of 10. Because it does its job. You know, it tells the story. The only reason I can't give it any higher is because I do wish the editing in the film, like with the flashbacks, were all at the beginning in one big sequence. So, you know, it would tell like a longer, you know, it would tell the story the way it was intended, but you know, you can't win them all. So yeah, I give it an 8. 8 out of 10.
Facts. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I give it a 8.
Ooh. So I guess I'm gonna be the highest one. I gave it an 8.5. I'm sorry. I get like I know it's a half of a point, but I still I really liked it. I still watched it again, was able to watch it again. And yeah, I really am down with it. So
I will say when I left the movie theater, it was a 7.5. But as I thought about it, did some research, continued to think about it, I was like, okay, you know, read some reviews that said that it was trash, and their points, it didn't add up. It felt like they didn't understand what was going on or anything like that. It's like they wanted to, you know, down the movie because of probably who directed the movie and everything like that. But yeah, I give it an 8. And then with everything we talked about tonight that I think a lot of people haven't, you know, brought to their streams or anything like that, I feel like this was a great, you know, conversation.
I agree. Like Ben Affleck.
So yeah, if we're gonna round it up, that's a collective 8 because y'all solid 8s are valued more than my 8.5. So that means, no, I'm not saying that literally. I'm saying, well, actually, I'm saying it literally. I'm not saying it emotionally. I'm saying that if you were to do if I'm doing the math correct, then all of the rounding would make it an 8, a solid 8 out of 10. And as far as MD as an institution goes, it's an 8 out of 10. So definitely see it. We enjoyed it. Aaron, since you have a connection to this film in one way or another, I'm gonna let you close us out. So go ahead and put the camera on you.
This was a really good movie. I think what most journalists, most critics fail to realize is that just because you don't understand how something works does not mean you need to try to detract from the entire message. You know, it's very, very in poor taste. You know, I don't appreciate it. And I think what a lot of people fail to realize is that this movie goes in a direction that we're not going to see for a very long time. And, you know, it was nice to see. No, I'm not going to say that. Not on this one. I really did like the movie. Love to see new guys come eventually. I would love that. That just made me have a taste for the Jack Kirby isms some more. Was there a little bit of my script in there? I don't know. If you read it, you might know. We'll see. I don't know. I liked the movie, though. It was really fun. No. We're not saying fun. That's what they all want to say. It was engaging. It was spectacular, show-stopping, never the same. I'm sorry. Like, no, for real. This was like a phase 1 movie. We're not going to see a movie like this for a good minute because y'all don't know what you want. You're fickle. So stay fickle. Stay broke, bitter, and fickle. So, yeah.
Well, I was told that we don't need to do. I was told that we don't need to do general outro, so y'all know where we are and where we be. No, because they're gonna see your faces last thing. Damn it. In any case, This has been MulDiversity. Y'all know where to find us. Mike, if it's on your screen, that can't hear us because you're muted. So you have to unmute and then put it on your screen. I don't even know
that is some sound criticism right there.
It is. So yeah, we've been MulDiversity. We will see y'all next time. Everybody say peace, everybody.
Peace. Everybody. Why can't I just leave things nice?
Peace out. Woo!
Yes.